Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman here on KX 93.5 FM, community-supported radio in Laguna Beach. Now, Brian's been here before, so I asked I asked this question to him a long, long time ago, but it bears repeating. I've had a number of shaman and medicine men and healers of all kinds of different sorts. And to a person, there was a catalyst or a series of catalysts that really thrust them on a consciously awake, aware spiritual path. Is that true of you as well?
Oh, most definitely. Quite often, the soulmate that teaches you something isn't the beautiful, easy, nice relationship. It's the one that takes you to places that you don't want to go.
Amen, brother.
And at first it looks like, oh, this is going to be nice and easy, and then it takes a turn, and it teaches you it's a roller coaster. Instead of a treadmill, instead of a nice, soft, easy treadmill, if you want that out of life, you can get that. Just avoid all the bumps. But life really is a roller coaster. If you want to learn something, go ahead and go for the bumps. Go for the roller coaster. Have some fun.
Oh, yeah. And I got to tell you, I see so many people that are living in gilded cages, and they don't even know that the door's open. And what you just said reminds me of that line from Shawshank Redemption. Get busy living or get busy dying. And it's really simple. If you want to avoid pain, you're only going to exist. You will not live. If you are willing to go into pain, you're going to do a couple of things. You're going to alleviate suffering, and you are going to introduce levels of tasting, experiencing, thrusting yourself into life that you have no idea about right now. It's so beautiful. Pain is inevitable. Pain is going to happen. You do not have to suffer.
But we're all going to die eventually, so you better get busy living, you know?
Well, it's true, but you be shocked at how many people are staying in their mommy's attic in a room because they're too afraid to go out into the world and get a job and stand up for themselves and really discover who they are when it gets tough or when it gets hard or when it gets not pretty, because it ain't always pretty. And I got to tell you guys, you hear me say this over and over again. It may not be pretty, but I'll take beautiful over pretty any day. So you were talking about things not being so pretty yourself. So what did thrust you on this path, Brian?
Oh, many things. One of the things was I had a near-death experience at the age of 16 that we recorded last time. We don't need to get into that. But basically what I learned out of that, let's get to what we learned, because near-death experience is, traumatic drama. And at the time, there really wasn't anybody I could speak to that had a near-death experience. And there wasn't a bookstore that had near-death experience books. There wasn't even a term called near-death experience. So it was 1979, and the library didn't have a self-help section, and so I just had this crazy thing in my head. But what happened was I learned some incredible lessons. The first lesson was life is short, and get busy living. What we just talked about. Number two is that we're all energy beings. And the way you control your energy, the way you share your energy and so on, it's the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have done to you. It's that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only change form. So if you give good energy, you get good energy. If you're up in your head and you're not being nice to people because you're trying to control things, and you're not living life in allowing others to live their life, you're controlling things, well, then what you get back is resistance. And what do you want? Resistance, yum, or yum or yuck? You want resistance, yuck, in controversy, or do you want yum? And either one will teach you some lessons and get you either going or not.
Good. Circle back down to that other thing that you said a second ago about you give good energy, you get good energy.
Yeah.
People often think of that in such a specific tunnel-visioned way, and that karma means that, hey, look, I'm going to give you $1, so somebody else is going to give me $1. That's not what it means. Could you elaborate a little bit, please?
All right, so hold on. Could you ask the question one more time? I got lost. I'm sorry. I just got out of the car.
I get it. So you guys listening
at home. Did you give me $1 just now?
Yes, I did. What, are you complaining?
Oh, this is a paid gig.
Okay. So you guys listening at home don't know. Brian just slammed down the freeway in L.A. because he was doing a workshop up in there. So graciously decided to come and join us and share some wisdom with us tonight.
A guy named Kyle Cease is a comedian. He's fantastic. He had to be on your show. He's fantastic.
We've talked about Kyle. Do me a favor. Give Kyle a little plug, will you?
I will. I'll give him a hug, give him a plug, give him $1.
Oh, so everybody's getting $1 today.
Yeah.
All right. So Kyle Cease is who? I love Kyle.
Well, he's a comedian. He had a breakthrough. He was a pretty solidly decent, comedian, getting lots of visual space on TV and the comedy circuit. And what happened was he had a spiritual breakthrough. He was going to Agape Church with Michael Beckwith and so on. And, you surround yourself with lots of lots of people growing. What do? You get in the pool, you get in the river, and you start growing too. Now,
Right.
If you want to be stuck, move to the cul-de-sac that you grew up in, and don't ever drive more than a half mile, and you'll be pretty stuck.
Right.
But he was on an adventure, and he started growing leaps and bounds, and at some point, he started counseling other comedians. And they thought he was some cult or something. Like, what are you doing? This is crazy. You're a comedian. You're not supposed to be all, teaching me spiritual lessons. And so he ended up growing through the process, painful process. And now, he just had a two-day event for $99 for, both days together, 1,400 people. And you do the math. He did well. And most of these spiritual guys, $99 would be just to, park your car.
Right.
It'd be $2,000 or something. And he's not looking to gouge people. He was trying to help people. And, he's still doing well from the whole thing. And the process is he's able to give. And you wouldn't believe in 10 hours each day how much he gave to other people and how many hopeful lessons he taught people to move through their fear.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous thing, but really what I think is cool about Kyle isn't his lesson solely, because he's got a lot to teach, and it's gorgeous. I'm not putting that down at all. But instead, it's his delivery method. He will make you laugh and learn. And the thing is, because you're laughing so hard, you don't even realize you learn, and you don't even realize how incredibly embedded that learning becomes, how quickly.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so before you became a smart aleck and we were talking about karma and giving and then receiving, here's what I'm trying to get to. A lot of times people think, if I give you $1, you're going to give me $1. That's not what karma is. It's that you are getting gifts all the time. The more you are a service, the more you are giving, the more you are making yourself available to the universal energy or God energy that is reciprocal, that gives back to you. Can you tell me your own version of that, please?
Oh, well, the trick is to give without the expectation of getting back. That energy will actually stay with you. Oh, I deserve something, and then you turn into anger. And the intention wasn't of you giving. The true intention is to, golden rule would be love others as you want to be loved. And it's not like, and then expect something back. There's not like a little addendum.
Really? That's not in the small print.
No, and then you learn different things with that. Forgiveness, unconditional love. And, the word unconditional love means there's no conditions. I mean,
wait, what's that mean again?
Yes, slow down. So the idea is you just give. And it makes you feel like if you go get me water right now because I'm thirsty and it's because you know that it'll make me happy to have some water. And so thanks for the water. And
right. And in that knowing of that, there's a gift that you get too.
Oh, yeah.
And that's huge and that's really important. Hey, Brian, we're about to play a song by somebody named Grace Gravity.
I'm playing drums on it. I produced it, and my girlfriend's the singer. And she sang everything live, authentically. Played guitar, sang everything live. It's real. It's real music.
Tell me about this song, Dreamer.
Oh, fantastic. Today we just started doing a new album that's all analog. and it's analog recorded, analog mixed,
Ooh,
and we're printing it
cool.
on vinyl. We're doing it old school way. And a part of that is because of how authentic we want it to be. With digital, it actually strips out some of the data, some of the harmonics, some of the overtones.
Oh, yeah.
And she could feel it. And so all of her music is about feeling. She feels the music. She gets in a space, and we play it together. The full band, drums, bass, guitar. She's playing
Old school, love it.
Acoustic guitar and singing live, all on one take. And we play it until it feels good. And, there might be tiny little mistakes in it, but we're typically okay with those mistakes because it's authentic.
Again, the ideal is the enemy of the good or the great. It's like, you know what? You hear that string slide up. Who cares? That's adding life. That's adding flavor. That's the thing it's not the notes. It's the things in between the notes that really make up life. And the song is called Dreamer.
Dreamer.
We're here with Brian Hardin, and we'll be back with more Inner Journey right after this.
Inner Journey, guiding you on an adventure of spiritual and personal growth.
Our guest this evening is Brian Hardin. The man has lived in so many different ways, in so many weird and wonderful and fantastic and odd and amazing ways. What am I talking about?
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, you went to get fast food with Jack Black. You actually got to sit and watch the Dalai Lama stop and smell the roses, quite literally. Mm-hmm. Not bad. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That's living.
And the Mayan high priest, we did that one time too.
Explain, Lucy.
At the Self-Realization Center. He and I were walking around the Self-Realization Center, and he would stop and smell every rose. And that's how life is. I mean, if you're a spiritual person, you're not up in your head and this is the way I have to be, and I have to wear be the actual. You have to be in your moment of love, innocence, fearlessness, joy, and gratitude every moment. You walk the walk every moment, and he was stopping and smelling the roses, and both of them do that. I find that all those spiritual guys do it.
All those spiritual guys?
No, everyone that's true, like everyone you've really hung out with that was true, that could see and really was connected. They were connected to their innocence, just like a child.
Well, this is what I was talking about, Danny. We had an email question just a little bit ago. Do you remember who it was from? And she was talking about how she's always a doer, and that she becomes emotionally depleted. What was her name? I'm sorry. Sarah. Sarah was talking about this, and it was wonderful because she said, I'd come home and I'd be emotionally depleted. And it's exactly the reason that you guys are talking about. Mm-hmm. It's simply, if you do not take times to literally or figuratively stop and smell the roses, you will be depleted. And
connect to nature. Act naturally, not normally. How about that one?
Ooh, that's a lovely bumper sticker. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, be connected to nature.
Yeah, act naturally, not normally. I love that. That's beautiful. But the thing that was really cool is what you've said. And you've been around some amazing, spiritually wise men in this and women in this world. And what I've heard you say on a number of different occasions is they always take time in one way or another to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, and they're all generally open-minded enough to learn from everybody. They can learn from a 3-year-old child. They can learn patience. They can also learn how to play, be in the moment and play from a 3-year-old child. You can learn from a 90-year-old. You can learn all sorts of amazing things from anybody. We're all geniuses. We're all talented in every way, and we're all teachers and students.
What was the Curtis Mayfield song we played tonight, the first song?
It was I Want to Be a Child Again.
I want to be a child again.
If only I could be a child again.
Yeah, and they're not talking about trying to regress. They're talking about exactly what Brian just said, which is looking at that, learning from that, understanding the wisdom and the liberty of having your emotions there and having your sense of presence, because you're not thinking beyond the other moment. You're not setting yourself up to be stressed. You're just childlike in your naivete and your joy and your embracing of life.
Oh, yeah. Love, joy, innocence, and fearlessness and gratitude are my 5. I try to breathe those in with every breath.
Amen, brother. I add forgiveness, and that's pretty much the same pie.
Yeah. Well, forgiveness connected probably to gratitude for me, but yeah. Because, when I forgive myself for something else, I actually turn it back into some level of gratitude. Like, oh, thank you for the problem. Thank you because you taught me something, And that was going back to soulmates or whatever else, oh, I met the perfect blah. And that perfect blah, 3 weeks later, or 3 months later, 3 years later, or decades later, turns into a not so cool. But the lessons you learned, hopefully, will keep you from repeating the pattern.
Well, I certainly hope so, and I can tell you I've been learning a lot lately.
What'd you learn lately? No, what'd you learn? Come on.
It's one of those things that we're talking about. It's about learning how to love and understanding that my love is not conditional upon what somebody else does with it, but it's that it is an expression of myself to love as fully and imperfectly as I can from the place that I am.
Did you have any hard lessons lately?
Oh, baby.
Fantastic.
I have wound up on a bruised booty because I've been knocked down on it so many times in this year alone has been, I am bruised and bloody, and I'm still smiling, and I'm digging it.
The Tibetans say everyone has a right to work on suffering. It doesn't mean everybody has to suffer. You have a choice. And so if you want to keep repeating those same mistakes, you can continue suffering.
I've been very good at that.
Yeah. Or if you choose to, I've seen this avenue before. I can't turn down that back alleyway. So then you choose the happy path. And so you don't repeat.
So let me flip it back on you because I know you've been going through a lot of lessons. What have you learned lately?
Well, really, it's overcoming my own fears. And this is an odd one. Fear of success. What the hell is that? Fear of success. Well, I'm the type of person that gives, and I am also talented with completing projects. So I'm really good with completing other people's projects. But
OPP?
Yeah, OPP. But I'm horrible with actually completing my own. I get them 95% finished, and it's like, somebody asked me to mow the yard, and then I suddenly drop my project, and for the next 6 months I'm mowing their yard or doing something stupid that I shouldn't be doing for free, and then not doing my own thing because I'm afraid of completing my own thing. So guess what? Kyle Cease, you just talked about that. 60 days ago, I went to a Kyle Cease event, and he said, in 100 days, what's your list of things to do? And so after 2 days of that, he also recommended that every day I should meditate. Okay, so I've known how to meditate, and it really does work. It turns off your ego and your mind enough that lets your spirit connect in through. And my spirit's like, hey, I've got things to do. You came here on this planet to have some fun and to share your love. Okay, well, you've got all these projects that share your love, and they're 95% finished. So guess what? We're going to finish them. So I drop into meditation every day for an hour. Okay. And then I
wait. Let me just jump in there 1 second because that scares a lot of our listeners away. Here's the deal. You meditate in the way that's appropriate for you. You meditate for the length of time that's appropriate for you, and then you ease in. And if it winds up being an hour for you, groovy. And if it's not, that's groovy too. Sorry, go on.
Oh,
please.
No, that's absolutely cool. Actually, I'd love to tell you later. Let me finish this one.
Okay.
I'll tell you in a little while.
This is how our conversations always go between Brian and I.
How to meditate or how I meditate, because it's really a trippy little thing that how do you meditate or how does Brian meditate? So anyway, I wrote out a list of things to do in 100 days.
All right.
And this is an insane list. This is a lifetime achievement for most people. First is I'm meditating 1 hour per day every day for 100 days.
Okay.
And in that 100 days, and now I'm 60 days into that, and in that 100 days, I'm going to eat only organic food. I'm going to focus on my own creative projects. I'm going to exercise, take walks, do yoga, take bike rides. I'm going to laugh more. I'm going to worry less. And I'm going to love all, including the bad stuff, the weird stuff. They're teaching me lessons.
Well, explain. Yeah, take a second with that, will you, please?
Well, that's what we just talked about. Is that when you have a soulmate and the soulmate is causing your problems, it's teaching you lessons. When you love all, hey, I love all the great things, and I also love the dark stuff, the bad stuff that's happening to me because I can step back from it and think, oh, let's have gratitude towards it, and let's not repeat the problem that caused it. So, if whatever the lesson is, that, I have a ongoing, repeating type of person that I interact with, that I'm not seeing that type of person come through the door that takes advantage of me in some way or another or whatever else, it's my choice. I might have that big energy ball saying, take advantage of me, and I'm playing the victim. I'm walking in the door saying, hey, come take from me. And they come in and take from me, and it's my choice to go, oh, I keep seeing these people that take from me come through the door, and everybody takes advantage of me. Well, no. At some point, you have to realize you're inviting them in. You've got victim on you, and they're just doing what their soul's meant to do, which is to come in and teach you a lesson. And yet, at some point, you have to thank them. Thank you for teaching me the lesson, and I'm no longer going to be the victim. I'm going to choose to no longer to read the energy of the people coming in the door. And next time someone who's going to take advantage of me comes through the door, I'm going to see it, and I'm going to say no, thank you. We're going to move to someone who doesn't. And so when you change your energy, when you change your victim energy, suddenly you aren't the victim anymore, and you don't attract the persecutors or the rescuers. But whatever that is.
Very cool. We're here with Brian Hardin, and believe it or not, he's not here to plug something, promo something. We're just here to have a good time, maybe share some wisdom and some laughs, and we'll be back with more Inner Journey with Greg Friedman after this short break. Welcome back. You are listening to...
Welcome back.
Oh, God.
Welcome back.
It is never, ever boring with Brian. So for 2 months, Brian has Stevie Winwood make him breakfast and tea.
Oh, yeah. He would say, wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. And then he'd be at tea time in the afternoon. It would be 3 o'clock. And, yeah, it's fantastic. He's really from his heart. He sings and plays from his heart.
All right. So we are actually going to whip through some time. So I want to get to this as quickly as we possibly can. You had a couple other things that you set up on your list from Kyle Cease.
Oh, yeah. So Kyle said, you got 100 days. What do you want to do? And so here's my list beyond all that other stuff that I said: eating organic food, taking walks, yoga, and laugh more, worry less, love all. So here's what I did. All this physical stuff where I was 95% finished. One is complete writing my first book. Whoa! It's called Life's User Manual. I own lifesusermanual.com, coming soon. Give me 45 days on that. I have my own website called New Ways with a K, KNEWWAYS.com. Right now, Life's User Manual sends you to New Ways or to BrianDHardin.com.
We're going to put all that stuff up on the Facebook
it'll go
page.
blah, blah, blah. All right, so I'm writing a book, and I'm going to complete that in the next 40 days. I got 40 more days to do it. I'm going to shoot and publish 20 new videos, and I've done 17 so far.
Whoa.
And maybe this is 18 today.
He's shooting in here too.
Yeah, I'm shooting right now. And so then I'm going to take photos that I own, and I'm going to add quotes to them, inspirational quotes.
Mm-hmm.
And
amazing photography, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Well, so I think that was the last time I saw you before this was I went to your photographic exhibit, and that was some of your work, but also some of a dear friend's work as well.
Yeah, my friend passed away several years ago and left me his entire collection of amazing photographs. And the great thing is I'm finally now, in fact, that's on the list of things to do here. I'm going to publish a celebrity book of his celebrity photos. I'm also taking his end of pictures, is what he called it. He only used photographic film. He didn't use digital cameras. And so I'm going to take his photographs of all these rock stars and rock legends and other events that went on back in the 70s and 80s and so on. And I'm publishing them. One is The Last Waltz. It's the 40th anniversary of this concert called The Last Waltz by a thing called The Band. 40th anniversary this year. And Rhino is putting together a book, and they're including Steve's photos in that.
Nice.
Because of Kyle Cease's event, saying, be brave, go for it.
And if you guys don't know the band, maybe you know Robbie Robertson.
Robertson. Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah, and so I was over at Robbie's studio just a couple weeks ago, giving him the photos, and then Bob Marley. I've got photos and posters that are 35 years old that were signed. One Heart and Herb is the Healing of All Nation, and so those are getting distributed now through Tough Gong as of last week. I have the Morrison Hotel Gallery, which is a guy named Henry Dieltz, a photographer, all moving forward with publishing and selling some of Steve's other photos. And all that is to honor a friend of mine who died several years ago. And the thing is, he died with his music still in him. And it pissed me off because he's my mirror. I saw in him, I'm dying with my own music in me. So I didn't want that to happen. So here I am, completing his stuff, completing my stuff. And the last one on my list to complete is I made a film called Road to Now Here, which is with another friend of mine. A fantastic film. And he said, I'm on a road to nowhere. And I said, no, you're going to evolve by the end of this whole process. And it's a real documentary film. And he evolves from nowhere to now here. He gets present, makes radical, positive changes in his life.
Right. And I want to tell you, because some of this stuff becomes very intimidating. Brian has more energy than me, and I have more energy than most 12 people I know combined. Okay. So he's scary. So when you hear his list, do not become intimidated by it. You don't have to do such grand things. They could just be little tiny things, because it's not about the size. It's about there's significance in small acts as much. It
started by me reorganizing my closet. I'm not kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. It breaks. It start with, a drawer. Reorganizing that. Do your closet. Then do your room. And then suddenly the energy breaks. We're all energy. So once you break the energy, then you go, I achieved that. Let me go.
Well, it becomes more fluid, and then it flows exactly where you need it to be. All right, Brian, believe it or not, we're coming up against it. So I'm going to ask my last two questions of you. Can you teach the people how to meditate in 2 minutes or less? And then you have about the same amount of time to share any parting thoughts, anything you'd feel remiss in not sharing.
I'll teach you how to meditate in 2 minutes. Well, that's actually kind of funny. What I do is I get in a quiet place. I get comfortable. I breathe. I relax, and so on, focusing on my breath. I close my eyes, and whatever else. But, relaxing, focusing on your breath and letting go are the main thing. And you start breathing, and you start feeling your body, and realize at some point your body is holding on to things, the pain in the neck, the gut instinct, the butterflies, the tight shoulders, all these little things that are adding up to keeping you uncomfortable and edgy and wrong. So you start, as you're focusing on your breath, you start to release and relax and let go of those clinging things. Quite often, those things are caused by thought patterns. Thought patterns, we call them feelings, because what we think we feel in our physical body. So when you start letting go of the feelings and the clenching, then your mind lets go of the pattern. And when you break the pattern, new worlds can emerge. So in the relaxation and so on, next thing, and very important, is I smile. This is hilarious. Most meditation people's teachers don't even begin to teach you to smile. Why would you do that? Well, when you smile, you go to this contagious energy of putting your frequency right. Now, what do you want to be, yum or yuck? It's a choice. So when you smile, you go to yum. Your whole body chemistry changes. So I'm smiling. I'm sitting there smiling, breathing, relaxing, letting go, feeling my body. And then I tell myself this. This is an odd one. My life is unfolding in goodness. My life is on course. So even though I've had all these problems, I realize, well, it's just the crisis, the problem is just an opportunity to learn and grow. So I can accept that, and it's on course. I don't have to repeat that pattern from this day on. It's a choice, And so everything's a choice. So then I imagine what brings you joy now is the next thing, and I feel that feeling now. So, okay, if in order to be happy, I need to have a blah, whatever that blah is, well, what's the feeling you want after you get the blah? Because once you get the Lamborghini and you scratch the door once, then you don't have that feeling anymore. You have the opposite. My Lamborghini scratched. Well, that's ridiculous. Let go of that, and have the feeling of what the Lamborghini is going to feel now. And you can drive around in a crap car and still have the feeling of the Lamborghini. What's the feeling everything's going to give you? And that's the only reason you're doing things. I mean, what is this saying? We're all at jobs we don't like, doing jobs we don't like, so we can make money we don't need, to buy things we don't need, to impress people we don't even like. And, you add all that up and you're in a bad feeling. You're in a dead-end job. And so make the choice now to feel the feeling now. It's not like I'm going to be happy later. And anyway, it keeps going on. Be grateful for what you do have. Imagine that well, anyway, you want me to wrap it up. So there's many more. I'm going to make a video.
No. First of all, I don't want you to wrap it up.
Okay.
The station does, because I'm only on till 9 o'clock, and we are pretty much done. Brian,
I'll make a video. Check it out.
I dig it. That'll be 19. I like it.
Yeah.
You jetted down here after the workshop with Kyle Cease, kylecease.org or .com. And we're going to put up Kyle's stuff. We're going to put up Brian's stuff on our website. I'm just always grateful for any time we get to spend together. You're a rock star, dude. I really appreciate you.
You're a rock star. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And if you've got more questions and we haven't been able to get to you.
I've got all the answers. The answers love. I just don't know what the questions are.
The problem is I have to fade his mic down all the time. It's such a horrible state of being. Anyway, if you got more questions and we haven't been able to get to you, please feel free to email us at greg@gregfriedman.com. Also, go to gregfriedman.com to check out the trip to Peru, the trips all over the world, the guidance, so many things there. And our Facebook page is Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. Give us a like. We'll give you guys all kinds of fun, fascinating, intriguing, and interesting things. I am incredibly fortunate to have Roxanne Roseboom as one of our production coordinators. And Danny Donaire is our head production coordinator. He is also an author, written a book called 7 Years in 7 Days, A Life from Now. Trust me, check it out. I've raved about it for years. I still use it. I still read it. I still pick it up. It's right out there. And as always, I cannot begin to thank all of you enough. As I have said innumerable times, this show does not exist without you, the listening audience. For that, and so much more, we are hugely grateful. You've been listening to Inner Journey with Greg Friedman. Good night.
Wow, it did go really fast.
I'm telling you, blink.